What is going on, guys? I am Extreme. This is my Road to Max Prestige, and I hope you guys are having a good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on what time you watch this video. And before I get too far into this video, I want to remind you guys, yet again, that every day at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I come out with new episodes of this series. And yeah. Also, I do have Facebook and Twitter. Links are down in the description below. If you want to go ahead and give me a follow on there, or a like, or whatever it is you do on those things. I know you follow on Twitter. I don't know what the fuck you do on Facebook, but go ahead and do one of those. And yeah, I do occasionally use them. Keyword is occasionally. So yeah. Anyways, what I want to talk to you guys about today is something that I actually shared this story with a friend of mine the other day, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to share it with my subs too. So the story I'm going to be telling you about today is, well, as you probably already know, how I ended up being homeless. Now, for the record, I want to say that I am not homeless. I live in a really shitty apartment, for those that are new around here. Lived in this shitty apartment since 2012, and I fucking hate this apartment, and fucking... I miss living in a house, okay? So, the story takes us back to 2002, where in the summer of 2002, just as summer was kicking off, actually, I found myself unemployed. Yay me. I lost my long-time job working, well, it wasn't a long-time job, I was there for like almost 2 years. I worked at AMC Theaters prior to this, and at the time I was trying to find a new job, and things weren't working out very well, and I owed money, and things were just, all hell was breaking loose in every which way. So, situation comes up, my landlady, or my family's landlady, because I was still living with my brothers, my mom, my dad, everyone was still together, okay? And we were all living together, and everything was great, except, wasn't. My landlady had decided she's going to renovate the house that we were living in, which meant she was going to bring in a bunch of people to do stuff, and slowly but surely, things were slowly starting to happen. So, at the beginning of summer, she had these roofers come in. Actually, it was just before the beginning of summer. It was still partially springish winter out here in California, and so it was cold as fuck, and this crazy-ass bitch decides she's going to, you know, redo the roof, except... yeah. So, that's just the start of the story. Jump ahead a few months, it is July, and by the grace of God, my brother Eric, he had got a job at Target, and he was hooking me up with a job. He got me a job by pure dumb luck, actually. And so right around that time, our landlady had become real aggressive about trying to get us out. She'd given us a 30-day, you know, vacate the premises, blah, 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 notice, all this crap. And we were abiding by it. We were getting out. We were going to leave. We were doing all we needed to do. And so it's my second day of work. I'm going to work thinking everything's going to be cool. I come home. I'm going to get something to eat, you know, relax, all that fun stuff, right? While I'm at work, my landlady shows up to the house with a couple cops and tries to have my family kicked out of the house. Like, what the fuck? So, here's where the story gets interesting, because I love my father. I do. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes his choices are for the betterment of my family. The choice he's about to make, my mother wanted to kill him. I wanted to kill him. My other brother wanted to kill him. Members of my family on both sides of the fence wanted to kill my father for this choice, but it's a choice he made. And the choice he made was, when the cops came up, they told him, look, you know, she wants you out, but do you guys have a place to go? My dad told them, no, we don't have a place to go. Okay, well, technically by law, she cannot kick you out. If she wants to evict you, she has to show just cause. Seeing as how she's already started doing, you know, renovations of the house, she can't evict you. You have to leave of your own free will. So you're free to stay here until you find a new place to live, and then you guys are fine. My father then opened his mouth, and I will forever hate him for doing this. But at the same time, it was, you know, I've got a few great stories from that summer, which is great, but My father tells the cop, no, we can be out by midnight. I am 20 years old at the time of this, and I couldn't drink, thank God, because I think I might have had like a couple, something. And I don't drink for very specific reasons. Well, I was going to say obvious, but for very specific reasons. But on this day, oh God, I hated my dad. I hated that fucker so much after that. So, like I said, my dad tells the cops, we can be out, no problem, everything will be great. My mother about to kill him. But we got out. We made it out by midnight because we pretty much had everything else already out of the house. And yeah, so my brother shows up. I'm at work when this happens, mind you. So my brother shows up at work to pick me up, and he's all, dude, you're not going to believe what Dad did. And I'm like, what? He goes, we're homeless. And I'm like, what did he fucking do? I get home, and there's my mom sitting in her car, because we had 2 cars at the time, and we had the moving van. And so my mom is in her car, my dad is in the van, and my brother came to pick me up in what was going to be his car. It didn't, but we'll get back to that soon enough. So basically, there's a couple items left that we need to pick up and put in the truck, and my mom and dad aren't talking. My mom is pissed as fuck at my dad. Rightfully so. And she eventually forgave him and got over it, but things would get worse throughout the course of that summer, and I'm going to share some of that here today. And I might even have to do another video of this, so we'll see what happens. But, so we wound up spending the night in a moving truck and in 2 different cars. My brother was in one car by himself. I was in the moving truck with my dad. And my mom and my youngest brother were in her car. Well, we wound up parking just outside where the storage place was, which, oh my God, that night sucked so bad. So that happened. We stayed in the cars that night, and we'd stay in the cars for a couple other nights. Now, this part of the story, I don't know if I've done this story before, and I hope I haven't, because if I have, I'm going to feel like an idiot. But at one point during this whole ordeal, my mother looked at me and said, I love your father to death. I'm seriously thinking of leaving him. And I had to talk her out of it. And I basically had to remind her that, you didn't put in all these years with this man just to throw it away, right? And my mom is one of those people that she's stubborn as hell. She doesn't want to waste her time on something like this, and she didn't get married to my dad for nothing. But my dad, this was a big fuck up, and her exact words to me were, if he doesn't find a place soon, I don't know. I might have to take your little brother and go, and you and your dad and your brother are gonna have to figure it out, because I'm not gonna leave you and your dad alone with your brother, but I don't have a choice. That's pretty much what happened. Like, it was me and my brother Eric and my dad, because we were working, we couldn't just leave. But my mom, she could take my brother, go stay with my grandfather. As you probably already know, we would eventually get a place. But through it all, and so I don't think I'm gonna have to do another video. Sweet. This is the time when I've told you guys a story about how, the phone, that's when that happened. But during that time, so much went on. We would struggle to get a room. Like, we would literally pull our cash together to me and my brother to get a room for a week, because we got tired of sleeping in our cars, man. I mean, and 2002 was one of the hottest summers on record here in San Diego, so it was fucking, ugh. Yeah, it was a nightmare. And I don't wish what I went through on anybody, not even my worst fucking enemies. It was that bad. It was such an uncomfortable experience. It's just, yeah, there are days I wish I could, yeah, like, there were 3 things I looked forward to during that whole ordeal. One of those was being able to take a hot shower. It got so bad that at one point, remember I told you I was working at Target? Well, my bosses noticed that I was kind of smelly and stuff, and they asked what was going on, and I told them. And they said, why didn't you tell us sooner? We could have helped, or we can help. And I'm like, well, we're kind of prideful, so, yeah, we don't like to ask for help. We wound up asking for help, and through the grace of God, we eventually did get into an apartment. And I don't want to go into all the specifics about it, but the management for the apartment building, they wanted to help, and they knew a way they could help, and they did, and it saved our ass, and we were forever grateful to them. And when my mom passed away, a couple days after, I actually went to go to a restaurant out where we used to live, and we ran into them. We told them, and the look on their faces was pure shock, because it was like, what? You know, they love my mom. My mom, like I said, touched a lot of people. And I didn't mean for this story to go back to that. It just happened to. But that's the story. And it was a very short, cut and dry version, and I kind of jumped all over the place. But it's a subject that isn't really sensitive to me. Like, it doesn't hit a sore spot or anything. But it's still something that, like, it does bring up some bad memories. And being that it is that time of year when it happened, it's like, I really don't want to go through that again. And I almost went through it last year because my dad's a moron. Hopefully it doesn't make that mistake this year. Pray. Anyways, thank you guys for joining me. I will see you tomorrow for another one. Until next time. Oh god, I don't even know what I'm talking about tomorrow too, so hopefully I'll come up with something good. But until next time, you guys, adios. Intentionally force myself to do something I don't want to do. When Call of Duty comes out every single year, I always go and play the game, the campaign, on Veteran. I don't know why I have this desire to cause myself, you know, anxiety, but every year I'm going to do it, and every year I have done it, so. But with Destiny, I don't want that, like, stress of trying to do the game on hard, you know, but I like the option of having it per mission, so it was nice. But I'm going to admit right now, considering it is a beta, and if they are in fact not going to be leaving, you know, letting you keep anything you unlocked or found during the beta,